Hello and welcome back to the channel. You join me today at Blue Mountains Mazda, where I'll be comparing this 2019 MX-5 RF against my 2017 MX-5 RF. Both cars belong to the fourth generation of the MX-5, known as the ND. For 2019, the MX-5 has had a suite of updates from Mazda, significant enough that it is now colloquially known as the ND2, making cars produced from 2015 to 2018 known as the ND1. The debate as to whether it's worth upgrading from an ND1 to an ND2 is one that gets pretty heated pretty quickly. Those who own an ND1 dismissing the changes and advocating a tune or other mods. Those who own an ND2 defend their purchase, saying it's the ultimate MX-5. As we all know, the truth is going to be somewhere in the middle. The most significant change is under the bonnet. We still have a naturally aspirated 2-litre 4-cylinder engine, however power has been upped by 17 kilowatts and 5 newton meters of torque. Whilst that may not seem like a lot, when you only have 118 kilowatts to start with, it should at least be noticeable. You may think that this was achieved by a simple tune-up, however the engine has undergone a full overhaul. Newly designed intake and exhaust, along with revised internals, means that the power output is thanks to a lot of hard work. Another positive from the overhaul is a newfound rev range. Redline is now up to 7500 RPM, and this is the change that I'm most excited to experience. A little known change is the one to the door. An ND1 has 3 opening positions, whereas the ND2 has 2. The first stop is now larger, enabling taller or less mobile people to have more room to get in or out. This would actually be an issue for me, as my car's first stop is just short of a brick wall in our garage. The ND2's door would see it go straight into it. So I've been driving for about 15 or 20 minutes just to get away from the traffic and find some open road where I can finally test out that 7,500 RPM Redline. Now, to be honest, just tooling around town, it doesn't feel that different to the ND1. Not that I really expected the addition of 5 newton meters of torque to be that amazing, but it really just doesn't feel any different to the ND1 if I'm perfectly honest. Now, some will tell you that the ND2 has a lot more poke around town. As I said, I just don't think that's the case. However, now it's time to find out what this newly found Redline is like to use. Okay, that's fun. There is a real change in tone once you get over 6,000 RPM. It doesn't exist in my car, I'm sure of it. If we just drop back a few cogs and do that again. I hope it comes through on camera, just that change in exhaust tone. Oh look, that's fantastic, and if that's the one difference in this car over the ND1, then that's a bloody good one. I kind of wish I had that in mind. Mine's still a lot of fun to rev out, but more revs means more fun. Another change that Mazda has made is installing a dual mass flywheel. Now, I'm not sure if it's because the car's done so few kilometres or not, but I have noticed a lot less driveline vibration and noise coming through into the cabin. ND1s, they get what's sort of referred to as a rake going over coals, especially if you're rolling along at say 3,000-4,000 RPM. You do hear quite a lot of noise coming through the driveline, which can be quite disconcerting if you're not sure what it is, or maybe you've only just got your MX-5, you might think something's wrong. Today I've noticed that there really has been no noise coming from the driveline whatsoever. I'm not sure if I can contribute that to the dual mass flywheel, but maybe. Shifts feel the exact same. The throttle's nice and responsive, pickup point's easy, it's a nice crisp shift, so it doesn't feel like it's muted that experience at all. For the first time in the MX-5's history, a telescopic steering wheel makes an appearance. Many taller drivers, or those with longer legs, have found it hard in the past to find a comfortable driving position. This has the potential to open the MX-5 up to a much wider audience. The only exterior clue that you're looking at a 2019 car, in the RF range at least, is the inclusion of a reversing camera as standard. Opinion is divided as to whether the location of the camera is lazy and an eyesore, but thankfully it works well. So I guess the conclusion, what's better, the ND1 or the ND2? I think to answer that, it's actually more what you want out of the car. If you're the type of person that's going to wind out your MX-5 every chance you get, then the additional revs on board are definitely something worth considering. Revving out an ND1 is a hell of a lot of fun, and revving an ND2 is even better because you now have the access to 7,500 RPM. If you're someone who just likes to poodle along and enjoy the wind in your hair, I don't really think there's that much of a difference in the ND2 to make it worthwhile. I think you'd be better off saving any money and getting an ND1. As always, thank you for watching, and once again a massive thank you to the team at Blue Mountains Mazda. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.